So hello everyone, मेरा नाम है आकाश मुगुके and I'm fourth year medical student and I'm right now in my posting of anesthesia. और आज मैं अपने intubation की कहानी सुनाऊंगा कि मेरा intubation का experience कैसा रहा. So if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, then do subscribe my channel Anytime Medicine so you cannot miss my future videos because I'm gonna make this kind of videos a lot. So what do you guys think? What is intubation? You guys must be thinking that putting a tube in the throat and it will help us to breathe, and that is just intubation. आप लोगों को यही लग रहा होगा, पर आप लोगों को जितना ये दिखता easy है उतना easy ये है नहीं. It doesn't work like that. We have to consider a lot of factors in the intubation before we do the intubation, and that I'm gonna talk about in this video. But for now, let's talk about when intubation is needed. Intubation is needed when patient is undergoing surgery in under general anesthesia while they don't able to breathe, and that point of time we need intubation to help patient to breathe. अब आपको ये मन में सवाल आ रहा होगा, what is general anesthesia? जब patient को सुलाया जाए ऑपरेशन के लिए, वो ही है general anesthesia. Patient will be in deep sleep while doing the surgery in order to tolerate the pain of the surgery. And second, it's needed when patient don't able to breathe on their own. While in the COVID era, they are not able to breathe on their own, so we have to put them in under ventilation. So in order to put them under ventilation, we have to insert endotracheal tube or we have to do intubation in order to put them under ventilator. So these are main two uses of the intubation. So you guys now know the usage of the intubation. Now let's talk about the factors that we need to consider before the intubation now. So if you are a medical student, you have must heard this word, and this is most common factor that you need to consider. It is a Mallampati classification of the airway. But I will not go in the detail of Mallampati classification, but you can see in the screen that this is the Mallampati classification of the airway. And this is one of the screening of difficult airway that we need to consider. And there are also a lot of important factors that you have to consider before the intubation, and which are dentition, tongue, palate, nose and mouth injury, neck flexibility and the jaw flexibility, if the jaw are the flexible enough or not. So we have to consider this point before we do the intubation of the patient. So let's first talk about the equipment that you need for the intubation. And there are two basic equipment that you need for the intubation are, first is laryngoscope and other one is endotracheal tube. So now we're gonna first talk about the laryngoscope and why it is called laryngoscope. Because it is inserted into the larynx of the patient, and because of that only we can see the vocal cord of the patient. And if you don't have any idea of the laryngoscope, then I will show you the clip of the laryngoscope that I have clicked in the hospital while being in the anesthesia posting. So as I have mentioned you already that this laryngoscope is used for seeing the vocal cord. And if you are a medical student, you must know that vocal cord is a structure in the throat, and we have to insert the endotracheal tube inside that structure, and for that we have to see the vocal cord, and for that we need laryngoscope. And there are various sizes and the types of the laryngoscope considering the age and the size of the throat of the patient. अब हम दूसरे इक्विपमेंट की बात करते हैं, वो है endotracheal tube and which you can call ETT, and this is just the tube in which gases will pass through, which are like O2, CO2 and anesthetic agents. So it is basically is that extended version of trachea which will attach to the ventilator in order to breathe. So as I have told you already that endotracheal tube has to be inside the vocal cord, and for seeing the vocal cord we need laryngoscope. But the vocal cord is usually closed while we are not breathing. So when you are swallowing something, your food particle will not go into the vocal cord which is closed, and epiglottis will also help that process. So in order to attach endotracheal tube to the ventilator, so we have to make the lungs stop breathing. For that we will insert some relaxant agents that will stop lungs to breathe, and because the lung stops breathing, vocal cord बंद हो जाती है, and वही muscle relaxant vocal cord को खोल देते हैं. इसीलिए muscle relaxant ऐड करना बहुत जरूरी है before intubation. And as you can see in this video that this is the endotracheal tube, and these markings are for the vocal cord. You have to pass through these markings, and once these markings are passed through the vocal cord, you have to stop inserting the endotracheal tube inside the trachea. And like laryngoscope, there are certain sizes and types of the endotracheal tube. Depends on the age of the patient and the type of surgery. So first type of endotracheal tube, as you saw in the video, that there is a cuff in the endotracheal tube. So in the children we don't use the cuffed endotracheal tube, we use the uncuffed endotracheal tube because their trachea is smaller than the adults, and we don't want to damage their trachea by inflating the cuff. So the one I'm showing you in the clip is a PVC tube so it can be kinked so easily. So this kind of tube usually used in the operation of where patient is in the supine position. There is the one tube like I am showing you in this video, which is flexometallic tube, which will not kink. However, you move the patient, and this type of tube usually used in the patient where patient is in the prone position, where we will fear the kinking of the endotracheal tube. So we use the flexometallic endotracheal tube, which will not kink. As you can see in this video that there are some spring like structure in the endotracheal tube which will prevent the kinking of the endotracheal tube. It is used in the surgeries like spine surgery and PCNL. So now we have talked about the basic things that you need for intubation, which are laryngoscope and the endotracheal tube. And now we will talk how to do the intubation. So I have made a video in the dummy, so I will show you that one first, and I will talk about my experience on the patient. Because the first ever time I have done the intubation, it was in the live patient, not in the dummy. But after that I have recorded a video in the dummy so that I can show you guys how to do the intubation properly. And I couldn't shoot video in the operation room while doing the intubation because we have to respect the patient privacy too. So I'll explain the dummy video and you watch it and learn it together. So first do the positions of patient head and try to open the mouth with your dominant hand and grab the laryngoscope with your non-dominant hand and hear the clink sound as you hearing in the video, and put the laryngoscope into patient's mouth. I will try to show you from the different angle. As you can see in the different angle that I am positioning the patient head and I am trying to open the patient's mouth with my dominant hand, and then I will take the laryngoscope from my non-dominant hand and I will try to put it in the patient mouth. So as you can see in the video that I am putting force from my tricep and the deltoid, not from the wrist. And as you can see the vocal cord inside this dummy, and I will put the endotracheal tube vertically into the patient's mouth, but it will not go easily into the patient's mouth vertically. So I will put it into the horizontal way, so it will be easy for me to insert the endotracheal tube into patient's mouth, and then I will inflate the cuff of endotracheal tube. So now you have seen the intubation in the dummy, but now I will talk about the experience that I got in the live patient. So you have to know the certain factors before you do the intubation that I have mentioned you in the beginning of the video. So first I got into the operation theater and I looked the PAC form of the patient, which is pre-anesthetic checkup of the patient, and there was Mallampati grade 1. So I thought that I could do this intubation as it was not that difficult. So it was my first time, and to be honest, nervousness was there. So as curious I am, I told my resident that I wanna do the intubation, and she said okay fine, you can do the intubation. And she said that look through the airways and pre-anesthetic checkups and comorbidities, and I said yeah, I already did that because I was so curious and excited to do my first intubation. And she said that prepare everything for the intubation. So for the intubation, firstly we have to attach monitors like BP, heart rate, pulse rate, temperature in certain surgeries, and the oxygen saturation. So I have attached it all that things, and there should be 2 laryngoscope and 2 endotracheal tube in case if you need the different type of laryngoscope or endotracheal tube. And other thing is that there should be someone to help you. It is most important thing. And but for me there was resident and the head of department of anesthesia. So after some time they said begin, and they administrate some drugs that need to be administered before doing intubation, and I started doing the pre-oxygenation. It simply means that give oxygen to patient before doing intubation, because in intubation patient will not be breathing for 30 to 45 seconds. So you don't want patient to be in apnea, so you have to pre-oxygenate the patient. And for pre-oxygenate we use the bag and mask technique and ask patient to take 3 or 4 deep breaths. So after giving muscle relaxant, at least wait for 3 minutes for muscle relaxant to kick in, and wait for the lungs to stop breathing and vocal cord to open. So after 3 minutes I positioned the head of the patient, as you have seen in the dummy video that I was positioning the head of the patient. So I positioned the head of the patient and I grabbed the laryngoscope, and from the one hand I opened the patient mouth and slowly insert the laryngoscope into the mouth, as I have showed you in the dummy video. But the dummy was little stiff, so I had to put pressure in order to open the dummy's mouth. But in the patient it is delicate, so you have to be gentle while opening the patient mouth, because you will damage the patient's trachea or the dentition, and you can also damage the cervical spine of the patient because you are forcing too hard. So for the intubation, be gentle. So after opening the patient mouth, I was slowly start seeing the vocal cord as I was putting some little force from my tricep and shoulders. You don't twist your wrist. You have to put your force from your tricep and shoulder and aim in the front wall at the 45-degree that you have to force in that direction. So as soon as I saw the vocal cord, I put the endotracheal tube inside the vocal cord as I have showed you the markings of the endotracheal tube until that reach. I have put the endotracheal tube in the vocal cord. So as I said that I have put the endotracheal tube in the trachea, they have inflated the cuff and they attach the endotracheal tube to the ventilator. So we have to make sure if the endotracheal tube is in the trachea or in the esophagus, if it is too deep or it is shorter than the vocal cord. We have to make sure all of these points. So for that we have to auscultate bilateral chest of the patient. If there is a bilateral air entry similar in the both lungs, then endotracheal tube is in the trachea. But after that we have to see in the monitor that EtCO2 graph is okay or not. And there is also some cases that someone put the endotracheal tube too deep and it went into the single lung, which is right side most common. So we have to make sure that air entry is similar in bilateral lungs and it is not in the bronchus of the lungs. We have to make sure that it is in the trachea. After we confirm that this tube is in the trachea, we will fix the endotracheal tube to the mouth and we will position the patient for the surgery. So that was my intubation experience, but in this video I want to talk about a little bit more about extubation too. So while doing extubation generally means that taking out the tube. So while doing extubation, there will be chances of laryngospasm because endotracheal tube was there for the long time and we are reversing the anesthesia of the patient. So the larynx of the patient will start to spasm. It is called laryngospasm. So if it is occurring, then we have to do the triple maneuver of the airway, which is head tilt, chin up and jaw thrust. So if it is not working, then we have to put some airways in order to prevent the laryngospasm. And those airways are the nasopharyngeal airway and the Goodell's airway. As you can see in these videos that this is the Goodell's airway and its second name is oropharyngeal airway too, which will insert it into the patient mouth. So the laryngospasm won't happen and it will prevent the tongue to fall back in. And this video is for the nasopharyngeal airway, which will be insert into the nose and which will not let pharynx to spasm. So this was the video about my intubation experience, which was my first ever intubation in my life. And I'm getting privilege of doing intubation while being just a medical student, and I'm so grateful for that. So thank you everyone for watching and listening to my intubation experience story. If you like this video, then hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and comment down below the thoughts of your intubation and comment down below if you have done intubation or not and how was the experience of your intubation too. So share this video to your friends so they will know that how to do the intubation and they can relate this story of mine with their stories too. So I will see you guys in the next amazing video like this. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye bye.